Hello, intrepid followers, subscribers, and watchers of my YouTube videos. It's time for another cosplay in the Geekfort. And I'm here today with Erwin Cosplay. Hello, Erwin. How are you?
I'm doing well. Thank you
Great.
very much for me. Thank you for asking me to do this.
Yeah. I'm glad you could come.
Yeah. All right. Can't you tell I'm so excited? I'm in a truck.
Only if you could have driven across the border, we could have done this live together.
Yeah, no kidding.
So you're up in Canada. You're one of our Canadian cosplay friends, aren't you?
Well, I'm glad I'm one of the friends, but yes, up at Vancouver.
So let's get into the questions, shall we?
Okay.
What led you to start cosplaying?
Cosplay for me really was, I really enjoyed Halloween. It was something I would look forward to all year and plan and plan and plan. And then Halloween came. It was a really great day. And then that was it. I'd have to wait, another full year for it. I would get my family into it. And then I found out about conventions. And I didn't have to wait one full year now. So I remember attending the first one in cosplay, and I was hooked. I can waste my money on cosplay instead of other stuff. So
I feel you on that. It's hard not to want to go, oh, look at that. That will be good in the cosplay. And then next thing you know, 5 cosplays later.
Exactly. Oh, for sure.
So let's talk about that first cosplay. What was it that you first did as a cosplay?
The actual official cosplay that I did was with myself and my eldest son, Brandon. We both dressed up as judges from the Judge Dredd movie. When I realized that, wow, this could be a lot more expensive than Halloween. So, we've done, as a family, we did other costumes. So we did theme costumes. We did vampires. We did Pirates of the Caribbean. We did, what was the other one? Pop icons. I've got 3 boys and a girl. All 3 boys are dressed up as different stages of Michael Jackson. The girl was dressed up as an age-appropriate Katy Perry. And I was dressed up as Elvis, and my wife was dressed up as Marilyn Monroe. So, but yes, the first actual official cosplay was Judge Dredd.
So let's talk a little more about that Judge Dredd now. Did you guys buy those or commission those or make those cosplays? What was that like? Tell me more about it.
Well, I had joined a Facebook cosplay group, and it was specifically for the Judge Dredd costumes. The costume itself, if I wanted to get it through the group, they actually had screen-worn armor and costumes that they reproduced. So those ones were upwards of $4,500 US. And I have 4 kids. Yes, it's not something I could do. So with the base, the jacket and the pants, I decided to get generic motorcycle jacket. I decided, again, to, instead of going leather pants, which, I've worn before, that's not a big deal, but they get hot. So I decided to go with black jeans. But the helmet was a raw cast that was molded from the original that I decided to end up, trimming out and painting myself. So that was really fun. And, I don't really use paint as a medium or anything like that. So it was really fun, the trial and error. Fun, sorry. So with the vest I actually purchased from the cosplay group. And that one was molded and created from the original molds. So it was ready to wear. And, if I was going to purchase something, things that you actually see that would make it, look like the character. So that one I purchased. But yeah, it was really fun putting together. And it was, I guess, a combination of everything. So just trying to be a little bit more cost effective. So
I think that's great that you were being cost effective and you tried to not just try to make everything yourself, but you were like, what can I make that would be easy for me to make and would be fun?
Again, with me, it wasn't just myself. I was gearing up. It's always 2 because I had my son with me. So yes, I had to take a look at the budget and see what I could do. Totally. Yeah, it was fun.
So what was that first cosplay you went to where you wore those cosplays?
Local one, Fan Expo. I forgot what year. It's probably 5 or 6 years ago. And yeah, it was a really exciting experience. You know, Judge Dredd is the stoic, scowling character. And looking back at all the photos, not the ones that I had taken, you know, in a studio or with a photographer, but with the other con goers, every single one, I've got a huge grin, you know. I was just having the time of my life. It was a great new experience. So
That's great. I'm glad you had that great experience and you continue to do it. So speaking of your of enjoying cosplay, what has been your favorite cosplay?
my favorite cosplay that I've worn is a tie between my Civil War Black Panther cosplay and my Shazam cosplay to date. Black Panther cosplay, it was one of my first cosplays that I was more comfortable, or I decided to step out of my comfort zone and actually wear something that was a lot more body forming. You know, growing up, I haven't really been, you know, I wasn't very confident in, you know, my physical stature, you know, just like what you see on TV and all that, you know, this idea of beauty's given to us. I've always been shy. You know, thankfully, you know, faux muscles are invented, and that helped quite a bit. No, and it was just a really good character, Black Panther, the way he was portrayed on screen and what he represents. It was really great to be able to put that gear on and walk around and really try to represent that character. The uniform, or excuse me, the gear, the cosplay was actually all pretty much purchased, but I had reworked a few items to be a little bit more accurate. The bodysuit was a, you know, a sub-dye spandex suit, which I had purchased. But then the gloves, I had, you know, 3D printed parts for that, and, you know, glued them on. And I had a separate glove that I had glued the 3D pieces on to make it look more armor-like. This way, the actual, you know, one-piece sub-dye suit had had gloves attached to it. But I mean, when you're walking around the convention wanting to buy stuff, you know, you need your fingers free. I mean, especially to eat. It's just hard for mobilization. So I actually cut the fingers off and bought some separate gloves on there, and I had separate gauntlets to attach to those, just so it's you know, it was a little bit more functional. For the neck piece, the necklace, it was actually a larger piece from another Black Panther mask that you could buy from, you know, it was mass produced, Ruby's. I had actually cut that piece off and glued it on in conjunction with a neck piece and the actual helmet, which I had commissioned from a maker in Thailand. So yeah, and you know, having everything put together, to me, you know, really represented the character very well.
Cool. I think it's a great job on it. It looks very realistic. I think it's
Oh,
up there with the actual costume
oh,
that
thank
you
you very much.
wore.
Wow,
Yeah.
appreciate that.
Yeah. So let's talk about Shazam.
Yes, now with Shazam, the reason that's one of my favorite ones again is I took another step outside my comfort zone again. It was the next step. Prior to that, all my other cosplays had either part of my face or my full face covered or obscured. And for me, it's very, you know, cosplay, I believe it is for everybody. You can, you know, cosplay which character you want, whether it's gender, ethnicity, you know, or even, you know, alien, you know, whatever. But for me, I really wanted it when I wore the costume or the cosplay to be not to I really wanted to have that sense of disbelief, or excuse me, suspension of disbelief included on there. And it's more important for me that the character actually is the character and not be detracted. So that's what I was thinking in the past. If it was Judge Dredd, whatever, I've got everything covered down to here. If it was Black Panther, I had my whole face covered. But with Shazam, it was my first one without a mask. And I guess even having that mask gives a cosplayer a little bit more confidence, just because you're a little bit freer, you know, you have that anonymity. So yeah, I was able to step out again of my comfort zone, take the whole thing off and said, hey, Asian Shazam. I'm okay with that. With this one, I think it's safe to say, I really admire a lot of other cosplayers who are able to take, an idea and create it from scratch. I mean, a lot of these guys are so talented that they're able to sew or create from foam, use warble and all these. Uh, Myself, I really don't have that skill. I don't have that opportunity or time. So the suit was actually purchased. The base suit was purchased, and you know, I 3D printed. I bought a 3D printer, and I learned how to actually not model, but actually print out and finish parts of the costume myself. Just like with my Dredge Dread, when I took the leap and spray painting, I had to learn another skill, which was finishing. So the gauntlets were 3D printed. Um, I had these medallions on the suit that were too small for what I wanted. I wanted to be a little bit more accurate, so I reprinted these larger. And with the chest piece, it actually lit up. And I had purchased the symbol from somebody from Etsy that was molding them, so it's rubber. I wanted that movement, and then I installed an LED sheet underneath that. So not very bright during the day, but trust me, it looks great at night, or if you squint really hard. But it was mostly for me. It's just something that I wanted to do. The belt, so the base wasn't the suit came with a base belt, and I actually had 3D printed parts for it to attach onto the belt to make it wider, and just again to be a little bit more accurate, in my opinion. But yeah, it was really nice to be able to start tweaking my costumes and having the ability to do that with the 3D printer.
Cool. Now I noticed the picture you sent me. You weren't the only one have you dressed as Shazam. You did sort of a group, made it a group project. So did you do all this 3D printing for your friends' cosplays as well as the Shazam family, or was that something they did themselves?
Oh yes, it was myself, my eldest son Brandon, and then two guys, Ian and Andre. Both guys, Ian and Andre, they have their own 3D printers. They actually did the same thing. We had purchased the file together and we shared it amongst ourselves. And there's always safety in numbers. So we said, you know what, let's do this. How many, you'll probably see a Shazam here or there, but let's do a whole group. And so with my son Brandon again, who's usually part of whatever I do there. Yeah, he's a good sport. I did the same thing for his suit, except for the light up chest. He wasn't too excited about that. He really didn't care. But yeah, that's what we ended up doing. It was a fun group project.
Cool. I enjoyed seeing you guys in the outfits together. It was great to get video of you, which I will insert right here so people can see the video I did of you guys together. So yeah. So let's go on to the next question then. So what has been the most ambitious cosplay you've created so far, or that you're working on right now?
The most ambitious one is probably going to be what I'm currently working on right now, which is an old school 1987 RoboCop cosplay, which is going to be about, I guess, 90% 3D printed. I've 3D printed about I need to 3D print about 90% of the armor. And then I need to come up with a strapping system to actually have the armor on me. So that's going to be a new challenge as well. But yeah, it's the first time I'll be doing a cosplay that's, more than 50% armor. So that's exciting.
That is exciting. I can't wait to see when it's done. That'll be great to share with the world.
Hopefully it'll work out fine. Nice. We're at 12 of 3D filaments so far. Not even close to being done, so we'll see.
So next year then, huh?
I'm shooting for, if everything works out, Fan Expo 2022 in February. That's what we're hoping. We'll see.
Cool. That'd be great. Cool. So let's talk about what is your favorite part about cosplaying? Like, what do you get so excited about sharing or doing in cosplay?
Initially, it was really sharing something with, my eldest son. I was a single dad when he was growing up, and he was very, very shy. And, him, liking a lot of the geeky, pop culture stuff that I do. It was nice for me to be able to share something with him, and he felt pretty safe in the environment. As we've met people, he would become familiar with them, and it really helped him get out of his skin. And that's how it started for me. But then it was actually the community that really uh, helped us, not only want to stay but be part of the community as well. It's the local community here. It's one of the most accepting, kind, and very helpful groups. And I know there can be drama here or there, that goes without saying, but by and large, everybody's just been just really good people. So I'm very excited about that.
Awesome. So when you're hitting an obstacle to creating, what helps motivate you to keep going?
For me, it is to walk away. I've got to walk away, distract myself from it, and after a while, I'll come back and try it again. Prior to that, I'll probably work up to a point where I want to pull my hair out, just because I can get stubborn. But I need to take a clean break, step away, try to look at it at a different angle, or chat with some of the other members again and see if they can offer a different point of view.
So what would you say has been your favorite thing that you've used to create your cosplays, or that helps you through it, that's really been fun?
For me, it was purchasing a 3D printer. It was exciting just because I do like to tinker here and there, and if it's something that I find interesting, I really like to jump in. I usually say I've got cosplay ADHD. Oh, what's that? Oh, what's that? Oh, what's that? I want that. I want that. And no, it was just learning another skill, and it's really opened up possibilities again. A full armor of a RoboCop. I mean, I would never have thought about that 5 years ago. So I'm very excited.
Cool. That is so awesome. I think it's great that you found a part of it that, like you said earlier, building with foam or sewing isn't your thing, but you figured out what is the kind of thing that really helps you be more interested and excited about cosplaying, that keeps you going with it. That's great.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And by going through it this way and learning the skills here and there, I'm able to put a little bit of myself in each cosplay, and that I find that pretty neat.
Now you sent me a picture. Is that you and Brandon as stormtroopers?
Yes. So I had his first real costume would actually be as a tiny Darth Vader, and I was Chewbacca. And then on his 10th birthday, I had ordered him a child stormtrooper armor that was molded. It came in 4 days before his actual birthday. So that's my first real crunch, cosplay crunch. And I put that together, and now that he had one, I have to get one too. So there's always a slight excuse there for me to get one too. But yes, yeah, no, I had fun. We both had fun with that.
Cool. That's awesome. So another one you did recently that I really liked, that I thought was amazing, was your a robot man from Doom Patrol.
Oh, thank you very much. Yes,
tell me more about that one. That sounds really fun. That was really fun.
Yes. So that one again, the 3D files. I did some research and I purchased that off a seller on Etsy, a gentleman from Russia who I can't remember the name now, unfortunately. But that one I would say would be my first real leap into more than just an accessory for 3D printing. Prior to that, my largest print to date was Hellboy's Hand of Doom. That was 3D printed. But yeah, Robot Man, now we're talking about the helmet, which had the detachable mask and also, or excuse me, detachable faceplate and also light up eyes. And what was really interesting about that was trying to find a way to light up the eyes without exhausting myself on learning a lot of electrical because I've seen some amazing robot mans out there, and the electrical components just blows my mind. So with that one, I had to find a more ingenious, I'd like to say ingenious, but it really is a lazy way to do that. And I eventually just purchased some Iron Man red LED eyes, for your Iron Man. I had drilled holes in the center and I just blacked out everything else. So it just looks like two circles on there and I could see through it, but it did the job. And yeah. And then, yeah, I printed out the knees, the arms and the shoulder parts. And, it was neat just buying the jacket to go with it. But yes, thank you very much. That was really fun.
Yeah, it looked fun to see you in it. Was it hard to move your hands in that, or was that easy with the 3D print fingers to do that?
The fingers actually took some challenges in regards to actually sizing it, because they come in one size, a lot of trial and error. And yes, I may not be able to snap, but I was able to move my fingers pretty well when all said and done. What was really interesting was the knees on the robots, because they're so hyper realized. They're large, they're supposed to look like gears, and I actually had to start walking that way just to spread out my knees more, because they were just knocking every time I walked. But yes, it was interesting to wear, and I might bring it out again. I'll probably be busting that out. We're looking to go to Northern FanCon, which is a local convention in Prince George. I've got a buddy that lives out there, and I basically told him he's housing me and Brandon. He said no problem, and I'd like to take that out again and wear it and see if I can make it more comfortable.
Awesome. So that goes into our next question about cons. What has been your favorite con that you've been to?
Well, my favorite con, it's going to be a tie again. My favorite con would be the first convention I ever went to. I was spoiled rotten. That was San Diego Comic-Con. I believe it was 2011. Myself and 5 other buddies, we were, our girlfriends and wives actually allowed us to go for all 4 days. We had matching shirts made with a maple leaf on there. We went, and I was not prepared. We didn't go in cosplay. I really, I was too shy at the time, but it was just such a sensory overload for everything that was offered. I was in shock. I was in culture shock, and I didn't think I actually got my bearings till the 3rd day. And it was, I probably only saw 30% of what was offered, just because I was just so overwhelmed. But yeah, and the tie for me would be my first convention where we actually dressed up, which was in Judge Dredd, and that was Fan Expo. So yeah.
Cool. So what did you like about Fan Expo?
Well, with Fan Expo, I felt that being in cosplay, I was really, participating at the con, and not just a viewer. It's really interesting having that. It was the first time I had that interaction with other con goers, where, oh, hey, Judge Dredd, oh, can I take a picture? And oh, how did you make that? And it was a lot easier to be able to approach people, or people approach me, I guess, because it was something familiar. And it was really neat. And again, I really enjoyed seeing my son, fielding questions, answering them, and being very confident. Actually, I haven't been to ECCC yet, but I know
you haven't. I didn't know that. Oh my goodness.
And I grew up in Washington. I grew up in Bellevue.
Oh my goodness.
And I never went to one. And it just seems like such a great party because of people like you that we know. They're all there. It's just a nice get together. So,
yeah. Well, that was the next question: is what's one con you would love to attend?
Yeah, Emerald City, definitely. And it feels like, to me, that it would be one big family reunion. Everybody really knows everybody. You have that nice hometown feel to it, but it's huge. It's big enough that you guys are having Hayden Christensen this
I know
year.
that's what I just heard was Hayden Christensen coming this year.
Gosh, and that's amazing. So yeah, I don't know if we'll be able to go this year just because of with everything that's happening, but it's definitely on my please wife list. May I please go? So that's out there. And then, yeah, I'd like to experience Dragon Con as well.
What is one piece of advice you want someone new to cosplay to know about?
I know this is easier said than done, but you know, really, you don't need to be shy. Again, with the majority of the community, they really want to help. And you know, it's really great. I usually tell, you know, whether it's my kids or my direct reports at work, you know, I always say that it's human nature to want to help. It's innate, you know, and if you just reach out and ask, you'll be surprised with how much assistance is out there. You don't need to be shy. People are willing to help you out. And yeah, it's really neat, you know, with you watch the news, you see all this negative things that's going on, but you know, there's still a lot of good people out there. And I think the cosplay community by and large, it's a good group. So yeah, just ask and people will help you take that that next step to your cosplay.
Cool. Well, thanks for sharing that. That's awesome. I think that's something important to know, is that you're not alone, and to ask someone is just as can be just as helpful as anything else.
Oh, absolutely. People are very excited to help out.
Yeah, cool. So you said that you're part of an like a Facebook group. Is that something that's for like that you would say something that people should do is try to find a Facebook group that's for cosplay that's near them, that they can meet cosplayers if they can't get to a convention right now?
Absolutely, 100%. So the local one here is Vancouver Cosplay Super Friends. And yeah, it's you know, it started off with a local guy named Chris, and it's really great. Again, it's especially if it's to join one that is local. You know, I don't know how it's going to be in the next few months. Hopefully things will open up more and more, but you know, virtual, you know, he's started a virtual mentorship program on there, which is neat. You know, a lot of cosplayers who are, you know, volunteering their time to help out, or there's a few where they've done live tutorials as well, which is really neat and helpful. But yeah, start making contacts, and even if it's not, you know, an expert, quote unquote, that's there, you'll find like-minded people, and it just makes it easier because, you know, two brains are better than one.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. That is, two brains are better than one. Yeah,
yeah.
Cool. So I noticed you sent another picture we didn't get to yet, which I think is really cool. That you sent, and that's the one of you and Brandon as the characters from Top Gun. Tell me more about this. This is so cool. I love it. It's so cool.
Yes. So the cosplay with my son, that was one of my favorite ones as well, just because Brandon's always been up for anything. You know, we had getting him indoctrinated in all my geeky stuff. You know, he's seen Top Gun, and I said, hey, you know, how about you want to do Maverick and Goose? He said, oh yeah. I said, you're gonna be Goose. He goes, oh yeah. And I said, can I draw a mustache on you? And he said, oh yeah. So bless that kid. So yeah, you know, I had bought generic flight suits for myself and him. And then what was really exciting was actually sourcing out the patches, you know, going on eBay, you know, or Etsy, finding out the more accurate ones. And now the next challenge that I had was what makes it iconic. It would be the helmets. You know, you can't really have Maverick and Goose without the helmets. So, and some of these can get so expensive, upwards of $500 for replicas. And I didn't need to have a replica. You know, I needed something that would look decent. So yeah, with that one, I had purchased these helmets from China, just, you know, whatever color it was, they came in, I had sanded them off and I had painted them black. Afterwards, yeah, was finding a seller who actually sold the graphics. And what was really interesting with that was laying the graphics on there. So again, it was trial and error, but thankfully he had a lot of extras included with the package and they turned out really well. Yeah, and we had a great time wearing them. You know, we got, I think, 3 more uses out of them, just because it's comfortable. You're in a flight suit. And yeah, you can take the helmet off, but you can walk around and carry that. And the best part is I was able to rehome both suits for about twice or 3 times as much as I actually spent on it. So that went toward another cosplay. But yeah,
nice. That's a great
that was
return on the investment to put it
oh,
back into cosplay. That's awesome.
no, absolutely.
That's so cool.
What's funny because that's what we had done with my Chewbacca and his Vader, because he was a little tiny Vader. I had sold those, and I picked up the Stormtrooper ones. I had sold those. I had sold my Stormtrooper, and I got a Vader one. So it you know, we keep it going.
That's excellent. That's a great way of like continuing it. So you're not like, if you feel like you're not like, especially with Brandon getting older, it's like, okay, he can't wear that anymore, and the other kids don't want to wear it. So
Yeah.
I'm not stuck with something.
And room, you know,
Yes.
space can get to be a priority. And
well, thanks for sharing all that. So last thing is, what is a charity organization that is doing good in the world right now that you would like people to know about?
well, there is a lot of charitable and, you know, organizations that do a lot of good work. I always feel like we have to start at our own backyard first and then go out. And so for me, it's BC Children's Hospital. They really go out of their way to raise, you know, to help raise money for new equipment, new procedures for children with, you know, a lot of them are with terminal illnesses. Actually, my stepdaughter, Brooklyn, when she was born, she had a genetic heart disease. And when she was born, I found out from Chrissy that, you know, she spent probably about 6 months at the ICU at Children's Hospital. Brandon and myself have done some volunteer work for organizations for donations for BC Children's Hospital. And, you know, one, it was an excuse to wear your cosplay. Two, you get you get to entertain some more kids, 4 kids, and it's you know, it's really neat.
Awesome. Well, thanks for sharing that. That sounds like a great community, like place where people can get help for their children, but also a great way for people to know more about it. So there will be a link in the description below, everyone, if you would like to help out with BC Children's. And with that, tell me more about Erwin, where people can find you on the net to see more of your cosplays and see what you're doing in cosplay.
Oh, well, you can find me on Instagram. My Instagram handle is very easy to remember. It's I'm not Brad Pitt. Do you know why?
No, tell me why.
Because I'm not. So
very true. That works great. There'll be a link in the description for that so everyone can find you there. Thanks again, Erwin. Well, thanks again for coming. And for you out there watching this, there's more of these videos. If you look at the very end of this video, you'll see a link to all of those other cosplay interviews I've done. And to learn more about me, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Tell me in the description below what you think your favorite cosplay that Erwin has done. And if you're into cosplay, tell us what you're doing next. We would love to hear more about what you're doing. And again, thanks for joining us. And again, cosplay is for everyone.